this should work, but all right. Okay, well, thank you. If you're watching this video, we are so excited that you're here, that you're taking the time to just chat with us for a little bit. Just a heads up, we are not covering all of the ins and outs in this video of what coaching is and what that entails. We have great other video content that explains that, and we would love to have more one-on-one conversations with you if you're interested in details like the compensation plan or how income works, how the business side of things works. We have all of that information, but the purpose of today's info session is really just to share our hearts and our stories, a little bit more about how specifically our team sees this business as a ministry opportunity and how we focus our businesses on doing work that's kingdom minded. And so I'm excited for you to get to hear from some of my dearest friends and ladies who encourage me and push me every single day. So honored to get to call them friends, teammates, and business partners. And so I'm going to get out of the way and let them kind of go through each of their stories, and then I'll talk a little bit at the end. But and I'll share my story then. So I first want to introduce to you Jeffrey Foster, and just going to let her take it away.
Hey, I am an associate student minister. I'm a mom to two littles. They're 3 and 1.5. So we have a lot of fun. We run a lot, and not always in a consistent direction, but we're running. And then my husband is also a student minister, so he and I work together, and been married for 8 years. So that's where I am right now. But starting, my daughter is 1.5 years, and after my son was born, I wanted to get healthy. I had been watching Jamie's journey, and being an athlete growing up, playing volleyball, and then I ran track and I was a cheerleader. Even in college. And so doing some of those things, I had been athletic before having kids and had been watching Jamie's journey, and had gained weight with my son. And so I started a program. I started 21 Day Fix and portion control and liked it for 2 weeks and did it for 2 weeks. And then I found out I was pregnant. So I quit everything and avoided Jamie for, I don't know, 9 months. But in the meantime, when I found out I was pregnant with our daughter, and as I was getting, all the mini tests that you have to do if you are having babies, my iron levels, which had been so low with my son in my first pregnancy, were where they should be, and a little bit up, which was good for me. With my daughter. And some of that was because I had started to eat healthy, work out, and use Shakeology. And so I just really thought about that a lot throughout my pregnancy. And when my daughter was 6 weeks old, I took my doctor a bag of Shakeology and said, "Can I use this?" And he heartily approved it. And so I contacted Jamie and was like, "I want to do this again. I want to be serious about it and get going." And so in that time, as student ministers, we don't make a whole lot of money, and I'm part-time right now. And so we needed something that could be a little bit of extra income for our family. And Jamie talked to me about coaching and how that could be a way that I could provide for our family in the time that I had, which it didn't have to be. She kept saying it doesn't have to be a lot. You can be strategic with your time. And so one of the things that, that was obviously very appealing, to make some money and to help our family. But one of the things that was a struggle for me is that I am not business minded. I don't like numbers. I don't like math. I don't consider myself to be someone that knows business. And I'm a people pleaser. And so I want everybody to be happy with me all the time. And so I, started this business, but was concerned, had those kinds of concerns. And so one of the great things that I learned as I became a coach and working with Jamie and with Lindsay too, is that we have business practices and training in place for you to learn how to work this business and do it well. And so even though I didn't have a business background, there are tools and resources that are available to me that we would walk you through that can help you to know how to run this business. And also, as a coach, it helped me a lot with accountability for my own personal fitness journey, because a lot of the stuff that we talk about is that we want to be a product of the products. And so if I'm encouraging people to buy a challenge pack, then I need to be working out to show them how this works, or it's kind of like recommending something. If you were going to recommend Target, I wear Target clothes. So here, let me show you my picture in Target clothes. That's kind of what we do sometimes with just the selling aspect. But one of the things that we talked about recently that I have really appreciated is that being a coach is really a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached. And when I've thought about it that way, it's really helped me as I want to help others, not just put on a product or show you how this works, because salesy, like that can start to feel really salesy. And that's not what we want. When I think about this being a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached, it's working on me. It's me reading. It's me studying to be a better business owner, studying to be a better mom, studying to be a better believer. And I have read more books in the past year than I have in the past probably 3 years, because I've had accountability to do that. I've been encouraged to do that. And it's developed. I have developed in that way personally. And then I mentioned that one of the other things I was worried about is that I'm a people pleaser and I want everybody to be happy with me. And so in some ways, being a coach has helped me to develop some tough skin sometimes, that it's okay that I can still give to others. I can still minister to others. And they can tell me no, and that's all right. And as a believer, as a Christ follower, that's what happens a lot of times as we're sharing the gospel with others, that people will hear what we have to say and choose not to listen, or they'll hear what we have to say and see how Christ can change us, and they want a part of that. And so these two ministries have gone hand in hand. As a student worker and as a coach, I've learned how to do both jobs better because of the other. So I'm grateful for that and grateful for the development that has come from that. And then one last thing I'll say is I do love people. I'm an extrovert, in case you don't know me and haven't picked up on that. But I love to be around people. And so this has really helped me to be intentional as I am building relationships. So I've met student worker friends who are choosing not to, at this point, like they're choosing not to maybe work the business or to be working on their health with me. But I'm learning from them as a student minister. And they're people that I never would have connected with had I not had the accountability and encouragement or desire to help them on their health and fitness journey. So I've really seen coaching as an avenue to help others. It begins with their health and fitness. That's usually our lead-in conversation. But it has become so much more than that, to try and help them spiritually, to connect with them in whatever is going on in their lives. As a mom, if that's, those are a lot of the ladies that I talk to. That kind of is who they are. So those are some things that I've enjoyed coaching. It is a difficult business, but what isn't? But it's so worth it. And again, when I focus on this is a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached, makes so much sense. And when I think about the people that I get to encourage and help along the way, then that makes all the time and the energy so worth it. So I'm glad you stayed with me, Jamie Lee. That's what I have.
Oh, I love that. And Jeffrey's been coaching a little over a year, and I've just personally loved watching. Those of you who, if you've ever been in ministry, you know that there are seasons where you are really full and really busy and going, and then there's seasons where, hopefully your family can rest a little bit. But I think the common thread is that a lot of it can be unpredictable and exhausting at times. But it's been so cool to watch Jeffrey in the past year work through that and stay consistent in her business and prove that it can be done even during our most busiest seasons. And just to see how this business doesn't work against what we do in church ministry. Like, it is all ministry, and it's all something that can be done. It works together really, really well. And I know for like my husband and I personally, the income that we get from this coaching business enables us to do the ministry that we also feel called to do through our church and through nonprofit organizations, specifically one that I work for. So I see that Haley jumped on, and I'm going to let her talk to you next. Let me tell you just a little bit about Haley. She started her journey very similar to how I started mine, and I'll share more about mine at the end. But she started as kind of what we call like a loyalty customer coach or a discount coach. She wasn't necessarily wanting to pursue the business, but she wanted to get a discount on the products, which is totally an option for coaching. And so she did that for probably 2 years, I think. And then she decided in like January of this year, kind of a few months worth of deciding and figuring out, she decided to pursue this as a business. And so I'm going to let her take it over and just share a little bit with you about her journey. So go ahead, Haley. You're muted. You're still muted.
Sorry. Okay. Hello. It's fine. I'm in the car on my lunch break, actually running home to grab something, but I did want to hop on here and share just about some really cool aspects of my journey and just some things I've really enjoyed about doing this. But first off, I'll just kind of share how I got started. Jamie mentioned some of it, but I was a loyal discount coach because I was in college when I first signed up. And so I needed anything and everything that could save me money. And so Jamie told me about the discount. At first I was a little bit hesitant, but then I was like, okay, it's a discount. It's going to save me money. I might as well jump in. And so I did. And I loved it. I fell in love with the programs. My first program that I did was PIO, but I never saw myself becoming a coach. And I think I even told Jamie, like, no, I'm never going to do that. I don't see myself doing that, but I will take the discount. And so I did that I signed up October of like 16, I think. And so for like a year and a half, I just used the discount, and I loved it. I was really thankful for it. Never still thought about ever doing coaching. I graduated from A&M in May of 17, and I started teaching in August of 17. So that was just a little over a year ago, and was doing great. But then 80-Day Obsession came out, which I think just changed everyone's life, really. But it really changed, and by say life, like truly changed every aspect of my life. Because 80-Day Obsession is like a long commitment. It's 80 days of committing to something. There's a very strict like nutrition plan, and the workouts are like 6 days a week for like 40 minutes to an hour. And so it just changes a lot of aspects of your life if you're wanting to remain consistent and disciplined. And I told myself that I wanted to do this program full out. And so because of that, I had to change every aspect of my life in order to make sure that I did this correctly. And the Lord just kind of works in mysterious ways in your life, and uses different things to really help you figure out kind of your passions and things that he's called you to, and just learn discipline. And before I did 80-Day Obsession, I had never really completely done a full program, I don't think, just because I would either like not do the nutrition plan, or I would skip a workout or two, or it would take me like 5 weeks to do a 3-week workout or whatever, because I just wasn't consistent. I didn't know what it meant to have discipline. But through 80-Day Obsession and just having the accountability of other coaches and other team members, and then also just really wanting and desiring to learn what discipline meant, I realized that like it is attainable. I never thought that discipline would be attainable for me. I just thought that you were like a naturally disciplined person. But through 80 Day Obsession, I realized like, no, like it's a choice that I get to be disciplined. And so in discovering that, realized that there's a lot of people that were like me that didn't understand that discipline is a choice and that anyone can have discipline, and that it might be harder for some people, but ultimately like we all get that choice. And so through that, I wanted to help other girls and other young girls my age discover that on their own, and realize that discipline, like that we all can have discipline, and that just because I'm here doing an 80-day program makes me no different than you doing the same thing. And so I wanted to be a resource and an avenue, and someone who just encourages and motivates other young women who are wanting to see a change in their life and who are wanting to see results, and who are wanting to see more purpose and meaning out of life. Through discipline and just learning how to be disciplined in different areas. And so that's really what kind of halfway through 80 Day Obsession kind of really was like, okay, I really wanted to do this because I just realized the joy in having discipline. And I wanted other girls to find that in their lives too, especially girls my age. I mean, I was freshly graduated in college in my first year in a teaching job, which can be very overwhelming and super stressful. But I wanted other girls to discover that like it didn't have to be that way, and that you can make a choice. And like, yeah, it's hard. Like it's not, it's going against the grain of what the world naturally tells us. But it's doable and it's possible. And so because I had coaches that held me accountable to that, I wanted to be that for someone else. And so I've really gotten to use this as a cool ministry for girls, young girls that have just graduated or girls that are just starting adulthood or about to graduate, and learning how to be disciplined and have a life that truly is full of joy and peace. And like when you have discipline, that's what Jesus gives you. Like he calls us to have discipline. And so really ultimately through all of this coaching thing, I've been able to mentor girls and disciple girls. I've been able to just show them kind of what I'm learning. It's nothing new and it's nothing like ground or earth breaking, but it's just what I've been learning from other people and what I've seen and the results that I've seen, and I get to share that with others. And so it's such a cool way. I also get to earn an extra income on the side, which has been super sweet for me because as a teacher, obviously we don't make the best income. And so it's been so nice to have that supplemental income. I'm getting to help girls and walk alongside girls that are truly desiring to be disciplined and find a deeper passion in life. And just discover their purpose. And like, it might not be like discipling girls, but like through this and through discipline and spending time with the Lord and just like,
Okay, she froze. So maybe we'll get her back in just a second. Let's see, it looks like everybody froze except me. I don't know what's going on. Can anybody hear me? Okay, well, one thing, maybe they'll come back on in a second, but are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyways, I was just about done. It just has been such an incredible blessing for me. I never knew like what doors this could open for me. I've been able to attend conferences and learn from people who are doing the same things and just how to better mentor and disciple others. And it's just such a ministry. And it's so fun to get to just walk alongside some of my best friends and do this together. And so I've absolutely loved it. It's changed my life. And I'm working towards currently replacing my teaching income, which is really exciting. There's lots of cool visions and dreams and goals that I have for the next like year and a half to 2 years. So yeah, it's super exciting. I love it. Would love if you have any questions, message me, call me, text me, email me, whatever. I can give you all my information, but yeah. Does that help answer questions?
Yes, that's awesome. And real quick, just like in 60 seconds, tell everyone like Haley is a teacher. She is a volleyball coach. She is leaving today for a playoff game, has to go travel overnight. But I have been able to watch her with this discipline that she's talking about, be very structured and very diligent in making sure she does work smarter, not necessarily harder at this business, and make sure that when she gets time to work, she puts time towards that. So just talk for a minute about how you've grown in that area, and how it doesn't take 5 hours a day, or, you know, just like how you can get a lot done in a short amount of time with a busy schedule.
Yes. So like she said, I am crazy busy, and just have lots of things on my plate, and I really work maybe 1 to 2 hours a day. Some days it's just 1 hour, and like that's all I can put in, and that's what I put in. Some days when I have some more time, I put in 2 hours. But I really I started like setting an alarm on my phone every day, and I make a schedule at the beginning of the week for my week ahead, and I look at that, and then I set alarms every day for every day that week to tell me and remind me to get my work done. And so like this week, it's looked like every night when I get home, I lay in bed for an hour and get my work done. And it really is like, I have to be so disciplined because it is through social media, phone, and so I have to be really disciplined in not getting distracted. And I have a to-do list that I literally go through and check. It tells me how much time each activity should take, and exactly what I'm supposed to be doing during that activity, and I just work through and power through that. It's called my power worksheet, actually, and I just really work through that, and at the top it says get it done, there's no excuses, and so I do that every single night. And I know that, like, even though it's only an hour putting in, like, I am working towards building it every single day, and that hour is going to pay off. We have worksheets and spreadsheets that we can give you that tells you exactly what to do and how to do it, and it literally will be an hour, and that's what you can start with. That's all that I do is an hour a day for now. So does that help? Does that answer?
Yes, that's awesome. Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Like Haley said, you can message her at any point. And yeah, so I want to point out a couple of things before we transition to Lindsay. Our team has some core values, and I keep hearing them kind of popping up in each of these stories. One of those core values is growth. We talk about, you know, we have to first be growing in a lot of different areas if we're going to pour out and help others grow. And Jeffrey really focused a lot on that, you know, just how she has grown in all these different areas, and how she loves that this business is a personal development plan with a compensation plan, and how you know, how neat that is. So that's one of our core values. And I kind of the core value that came to the surface as Haley was talking is gratitude. And obviously that's a popular word to focus on this month, but it was because of what Haley experienced herself that she then wanted to pass that along and share that with other people. And to give, to be generous, that's another core value, generosity, to be generous out of the gratitude for what she had experienced, and how that kind of fuels what she does and her heart and her passion for other people. So anyways, there's my husband because Haley's in the other room. But anyways, so now I want to introduce to you Lindsay Coons. Lindsay has, of the people who have shared today, she has been on this team the longest. And I'll let her tell just a little bit of her story, but you just heard from the two extroverts on our team, and now you get to hear from Lindsay and me, the two introverts. But she has a really cool story, and it's just really neat to see how this business can be for anyone, any personality type. And so I would love for you to listen to her story and just see how maybe some of you connect with her. So go ahead, Lindsay.
Yeah, it's kind of cruel to leave the introverts for the end, because I'm just the whole time like, oh, I'm next. Yeah, so I'm Lindsay. We live in Houston right now, and my husband and I have been married for almost 3 years. He's a student minister, so I'm right on the ministry life bandwagon and schedule with everyone else. Not everyone else, but there's a lot of us on the team that are related to ministry in some way, so that's a really cool community aspect. But so my story kind of like the condensed version. So I am not athletic. I don't enjoy working out. I'm not good at sports. I've never been that person. And so I've also always been kind of naturally thin. And so I didn't see the need to worry about my health or exercise or eating. Like, I could eat whatever I wanted and it didn't make a difference, I thought. But fast forward to when my husband and I got married, we moved to a new town, and I am an introvert. I like to have things scheduled and controlled and in a routine, and I had none of that. We were in a new town. I was at a new church. I had a new job. I was married. Like, all of these things, nothing was the same. And I found myself like kind of spiraling downward, and my relationship with the Lord was suffering, and I like couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Like, I would sleep 10, 12 hours and still felt like I hadn't slept at all when I tried to get up. And I just like had no motivation to do anything and felt like I didn't have any purpose or any like drive. I just like felt like I was just kind of existing through the day. And that is a terrible feeling if you've ever been there. And I had tried a few other different things, like nothing, kind of some quick fix type things, nothing worked. And then I had known Jamie for a few years before that, and had been watching her on her journey and thinking like, good for her, that's awesome. And I think you'd even asked me once to join you, and I said no, because I didn't think I needed it. But then I had hit this point where something needed to change, and I didn't really know what. And around that time, Jamie reached out to me again and said, hey, I'm starting my next group. Do you want to join me? And at that point, I just thought, well, nothing else has worked, and something has to change, or like, who knows, my poor husband is not going to survive like everything that I'm dealing with right now. And I may not either. And so I said, sure, I'll try it for a month. It's a month. What can that hurt? So I started with just 30 minutes a day of exercise, because I don't like exercise, so I wanted as little of it as possible. And I started drinking Shakeology, and it was like a week, and I felt a lot better. And I remember talking to my husband and saying like, this is just because it's new, right? Like, there's no way that this is actually helping. It's just like, I'm just tricking myself into thinking that this is actually making a difference. And he was like, yeah, okay, we'll see. But then at the end of the month, I was still feeling a lot better, and I had been improving, and I had seen myself get a little bit stronger. And I was learning that like, oh, eating healthy isn't, as life consuming as I thought it was. And this Shakeology stuff like tastes really good and is helping me have more energy. And I felt more like myself again. And so I think maybe I signed up as a coach at the beginning again for the discount, because I'm like Haley. I was like, anything to save money, I'll do. I had no intention of doing anything with it other than the discount. But after like a month, I said, well, if this is working really well for me, then maybe if someone asks me, I'll tell them about it. Like, I'll just kind of share as I'm going with my friends. And then once a couple people asked, and they got started and they were doing it with me, and I realized that I really enjoy the coaching aspect too, and like the working with people and helping them and brainstorming. And I am an introvert, and so I don't like a ton of surface relationships, but I love a few deep relationships. And I realized that that's really what coaching is. This is getting to know people on a deeper level, because I think, like Jeffrey said, a lot of times it starts out as talking about our physical health, but it really quickly goes into deeper stuff. And then we start realizing, oh, this is the lie that I've been believing for years, or, oh, this was like, a way that I feel like I've failed and I don't deserve to do this, or I can't spend time on myself because of all these other people. Like, it's just, there's a lot involved. And I loved that part, because I was really getting to know people and getting to have those relationships and learn how to ask better questions and be a better friend, and all of those things with being able to make money on the side. And the other kind of big thing was, because my husband is in ministry, I worked in an office for the first year and a half of our marriage, and I loved the job I was doing, but our schedules were always off. Like, we maybe would have one day a week that we were both off, and I'm a big quality time person, and that was not enough for me. And if he would travel, I would have to stay. And so it was a big deal for me to know that I could do something that could that I could earn an income, but also be really flexible to go with him when he goes to a conference, or to have a random Tuesday off because that's the only day he could take off that week. Or we've both been sick this week. And so being able to stay home for myself and for him. And it's just, man, I know we're like running out of time, so I won't go on forever, but it's been such a unexpected blessing in all the ways that I didn't expect because I thought I had to be a certain personality. I thought I'd have to be that like icky person that I know we all have, that like turned into someone else when they started selling something, and now that's what they're doing, is selling something. And I never wanted to do that. I wanted to continue to be myself, and I didn't want my friends to run away. And but I found that it's like, it's a choice on on which end you go. Like, it's totally possible to be icky and be salesy and do that. But it's also totally possible to not do that and to just continue making better relationships and better friendships. And like Jeffrey, like I've met so many cool, like-minded people that we are not connecting on like a, hey, I sent you this random message, I don't care about you, but on a, hey, we have this really major thing in common, so let's talk about it. And here's what I've been doing that's helped this area of my life, that's trickled into everything else. Like, I could ramble forever, but it's unexpected in the best ways.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, one of the core values of our team that kind of came to mind when Lindsay was talking is that of grace. And Lindsay has definitely been through different schedule changes and different seasons, and I've seen personally her extend grace to herself and learn, like I would say almost everyone on this call like struggles with people pleasing to a degree. And for me personally, that's been like the Lord has revealed that is an idol in my life, and has used this business to kind of break through that. And so a lot of that involves like extending grace to other people and extending grace to yourself. And obviously that's a big thing that we focus on in our challenge group, just with people wanting to get started on their health journey, that a lot of times people don't expect to have to extend grace to themselves and to focus on making progress instead of being perfect on this journey. And just like Lindsay said, the many aspects of your life that will come to the surface that you need to deal with, that starts with a health and fitness journey. Like, it's just really cool to see how the Lord uses that entry point, not only into the lives of others, but into our own hearts, to kind of identify some idolatry and some things that we need to change. And so I kind of want to conclude. We've just got a few minutes. My story, I've been coaching for 3.5 years, almost 4 years coming up, like actively coaching. I signed up as a discount coach, and I was a discount coach for 2 years. Again, just enjoying the Shakeology and the discount on the products. But we had some life changes happen. We felt called to join a church plant, and it meant that my husband would no longer be making a full-time income at the church where we were leaving. And he had to do some things to bring in some income, and it was very clear that I needed to do some things as well. And with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, I did not want to leave the home really. I had enjoyed staying home with them. And so we just began to look at options, and my husband was actually the one who encouraged me and pushed me to consider this business. And a month in, when I wanted to quit because I wasn't managing my time well, and I felt like I was consumed by social media and a slave to my notifications, like my husband was the one that said, okay, so you're not doing so great at it right now. Instead of just quitting, like, why don't you work at it and improve and make some changes? And so he really has been one of the main ones who has instilled in me kind of our 5th core value on our team, which is grit. And just this drive and this desire, a passion, a perseverance to make it happen, and to learn to rest and not quit, and to restructure things and adapt. An entrepreneur is not a word I would not have used that word to describe myself ever, really. But really, I've learned that the heart of that is being willing to adapt and change and learn and grow constantly. And that's hard. That's hard for all of us to do. And I would say that's one of the biggest things I've learned through this business, is how that should be our lives, especially as believers and as Christ followers. We are on a journey, and our sanctification is to always be growing and changing, to be a light in this world, to be more and more like Christ. And I feel like some of the character development lessons that I've learned through this business have served me well in every role, relationship, responsibility the Lord has given me. And that's really my desire for my business and what I'm wanting to not just pass on to other wives and moms. That's really kind of, Haley talked about focusing on younger girls that are right out of college or, entering adulthood. I have a passion for mainly wives and moms who are struggling with new identities, maybe as a mom, and trying to figure out how to be disciplined. So yes, it's about cultivating a disciplined life in every role, relationship, and responsibility that the Lord has given them. But to take that a step further, it's to help equip leaders to invest in wives and moms. And so not just to think of who can I reach and who can I impact, but how can I help Lindsay, Haley, and Jeffrey and other coaches on our team grow and multiply and expand their, to their sphere of influence and who they're ministering to. And I really, really have a desire to do that and to just see this business as a leadership development opportunity. And so that's really what we want to share with y'all, and what we want to offer up as you consider this is this is about, like Jeffrey said, it's a personal development plan with a compensation plan. It's whatever your desire, your mission is with it. You can make income with it. You can connect with people that you would not have connected with otherwise. You can do this business while holding a beautiful baby. Like mine is in the other room. I'm about to have another one. Like there's just so much freedom to do this business how the Lord calls you to do it. And we really have a desire to equip you to do that well and not to be consumed by it, but to be a good steward. And so please continue the conversation with us. Ask questions. This is about to end, but thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and reach out to any one of us. If you connected with one of us and our stories more, please reach out, and we would love to continue a conversation with you. So thanks for being here, y'all.